yes, thank you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people affected. Anyway, and I start with the man upstairs. Foundation and the rock for anything good that's ever happened to me in my life. Thank you, Eddie. You're the love of my life, baby. Anyway, I want to point out that another love of my life is the basis for just about everything, growing up, and that's my mom. And my siblings are here probably mostly because they want to see her get honored too. The flag that's being folded for me today was flown in her honor on what would have been her 89th birthday. And so, and I just want to point out, just for everybody, never disregard trinkets you give your moms. I bought this thing, when I was at officer training school, I bought this trinket for her. She put it on display all her life and treasured it. I always thought it was junk and just a quick gift to my mom. She loved it. So keep that in mind. And I just want to say thank you on down the line. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for taking me on, because as a square peg in a round hole, I was just a misfit. I've been a misfit here for the whole 5 years in some regard, and just a pain in the butt for the bosses and everybody who's managing training and who is this guy and what's he doing and yada yada yada. But you gave me the opportunity to complete my service, and I'm just greatly thankful for that. It took me a long time to get back in. From when I left, I got booted out in 2008 for not making grade. It's working, and it worked exactly like it's supposed to. I was in a circumstance that was not able to be continued, and my only opportunity for completing service was Air National Guard. And of course, I was saying, I'll peel potatoes for 5 years if you want me to, complete my service. And I've never needed to complete my service for money. That's always been the major assumption. It really wasn't. It was here and here that you want to complete my service. And I'm so glad I got that opportunity. Chief Torres, Senior Master at the time, he would have taken me on. He had a choice to say, this guy's too weird, I'm not willing. It's an investment for me. The best is with clients. The military doesn't tolerate misfits all that easy. And so instead of relegating me to the island of misfit boys, he took me on. So thank you for that. I wanted to mention some inspirations for my military service. My dad was in World War II, joined the Navy at age 17, turned 18 on a ship in the middle of the Valley of Okinawa. That was very inspirational, but he died before I turned 2, so I never got to know him. I have 2 older brothers, Ed and Jim. Ed joined the Air Force. He did everything he could to get prepared to join the Air Force, age 17, and then as soon as he turned 18, he got in the first cycle. And he had his checks initially sent home to my mom to take care of us. My brother Jim, he joined, he entered Vietnam involuntarily. He got recruited by a judge in Black Road. But he enlisted for a second tour because he wanted to complete it on his own accord. And he also sent money home to mom to help with the lessons. And of course, I have a picture of them in their Civil War outfits. They were destined for it too. My brother Joe joined the Marines, and his is an extremely unique story, inspirationally nonetheless, showing intestinal fortitude and sticking it to the man. Anyway, great story. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, family. Thank you, you guys. I love being here, and primarily it's who I deal with. Guys like Ray, I miss you. I'm glad I'm leaving because you're the anyway, that's it. There should be some Chick-fil-A here.
Hold on.
We got
There we go. So we got the flags are coming, but before we do that, I was just going to say real fast. So Sergeant Donnelly, same thing. I looked through his stuff and tried to figure out when he came in and all that. And so I mentioned Sergeant Paya's service dates back to 1977. So right about the time, you know, he was down in the trenches fighting off the British, really close, running out of ammo. And then here comes young Sergeant Donnelly, now Major. Is he a Major, Sergeant? Who knows? But he had recognition. He came in about 1983 and helped to reload, and they fought him off. And of course, now we have America. But these two, Sergeant Donnelly and Sergeant Paya, they've done a lot for the unit in the wing. Sergeant Donnelly, when the idea was first posed to me to have you come into the unit, I kind of scratched my head because the way it was explained to me was there was this Army major who needs some extra time, so he's going to become a staff sergeant, he's going to go to EM, and he's an engineer, and he works for the Corps Engineers, and I was just all kinds of confused, so we read up on it a little bit, and we were still a little bit confused. My concern was, you know, I got the idea on the points. I was still pretty new to the unit and to the guard, so I didn't totally get all the points, but the CSS at the time explained it to me, and then when I met you, I thought, I think this will be all right, because one thing Major Donnelly was able to do, he's a very humble guy, and he never once came in, and I never once heard him say, you know, I used to be a major, so blah, blah, blah. You know, he never did that. He just kind of came in. He actually came in a little bit after, I think about one weekend of working with Chief Torres, and was like, I got to get out of this flight. But actually, he had a good idea, and Chief had a good idea too, because he was going to be so short-lived in the unit, to move him over as an engineer technician or an engineer assistant, because that's where he came from, that's where he's been working, and he had that Corps Engineers project management stink on him. And one thing our EAs have a hard time getting experience with is in the project management. They can do the CAD, they can do all that sort of stuff, but coming in just on the weekend and having someone who's very solid as a project inspector and manager, Sergeant Donnelly, today Major Donnelly, filled that hole very well. So thank you for that. And then, yeah, now, surprise, he's a major, and he's getting ready to retire, and you've been great out here. We've been having a good time with you. The CSS, when he first came in, they really read him the riot act and said, man, you started sliding as you came on third base. So I think, because we ran the numbers about 1 million times, I think he will have just sufficient amount of time. He never called in sick, so he's made it across the line. So any of you that are thinking of doing the in and out and come back and all that, talk to this gentleman right here. Explain to you how important it is to read through your points and make sure that you got everything cleared up every way. Yeah, but you can still make it. There's always a way. So thank you so much for your service. You have a seat, and we're going to do the flag ceremony here. Before we do that, I do want to show both of them had flags flown, but we got to make sure that Sergeant Paya gets his gift. There was only one thing that he wanted from this wing, and I think it was one time he was working in the wing building. He saw this picture and said that's what he really wanted. And Chief told him if you can match the paint behind it so they don't notice it missing. So, Johnson, just ignore this, but I'm going to leave this here so it doesn't get broken. But I just want to make sure that's Sergeant Paya's. Both of you gentlemen are about to get a flag. If you've never seen the flag ceremony, it's pretty good. So I'll let the honor guard do what they do best.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 144th Fighter Wing Honor Guard will now perform the time-honored flag folding ceremony.